Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, we have already started. So I have my notes. Okay, so we have started with the Android activity, right? So it is a subclass of context theme wrapper. So I hope you all are aware of this particular terminology. Okay, inheritance. This is known as the inheritance, right? So at the root level, we have object class, and after that context wrapper, context theme wrapper, and the last we have activity class, right? So what is activity? So actually whatever you can see, right, in your screen, in your phone, that is known as the particular activity. So an activity is a single screen in Android, right? If you are aware of that in a C sharp .NET or advanced Java, then it is known as the window, this kind of window you can say, right? And in this window you can put the stuff like you are going to put the text box, buttons, and radio button, checkbox, and all that stuff, right? And it is known as the frame in the Java. Okay. Now, by the help of this activity, what you can do, you can place your UI component. So our main aim is here, we are going to provide the user interface, right? And with the user interface, what we are going to do, we are going to put some logic code behind that, right? So in that particular thing, you can design the user interface, right? And or you can put the widgets. It is also known as the widgets, right? So here last time I have drawn this particular you can say activity, like here edit text box, this is button, right? And this is one button, and this is your phone, this is your Android phone, right? Here is the status bar. In that, here you can say there is a one button, right? So like this is the particular UI, right? This is your toolbar. So this is known as the activity. So what we can do, we can put our widgets on this particular activity, right? Now, whenever you create any project, right? So there is a one important file, and it is known as the Android manifest.xml file, right? How you can identify that it is an XML file? So first is by the extension, and a second one is here a document is started with the XML notifications, right? So XML, if you are learning a WTP subject, web technology, then you are creating HTML document. So the first page starts with the HTML, right, and ends with the HTML. So similarly over here, XML document starts with the XML tag, which version it using and which encoding language it is, UTF-8, right? As we know that XML is the readable tags, we can create our own tags. So these people have used their own tags, and that's why they choose the XML tag, because in XML is a very powerful, you can say, documentation, right? You can also use XML as a database if you want to store the database data in the particular XML. So your CRUD operations, right? Create, read, update, and delete. So that is your data manipulation will be faster. Data manipulation will be faster. So many of the technology using XML as a backend to store the data. Here we have the manifest tag, and in that we have the application tag, right? And in between that we have the activity tag, right? Here one property is known as the name, right? So name of activity. So what is the activity name? A main activity is our name, right? So here dot main activity. Okay, so this is the property and this is the value of it, and this is known as the activity tag. Okay, so if you whatever activities you are going to create, activity means is screen, whatever screen you are going to create, that many activities will be listed in this particular Android manifest file. Okay, after that the activity attribute name will be represented the name of class, right? So here if you have seen that public class, one automatically one code behind file is going to be generated, and that code behind file is known as the main activity dot java file, right? So in this main activity dot java file, there is a one class. It is known as the main activity and extends the activity. It extends the activity, right? And we can also add a multiple attributes like icons, labels, theme, permissions, etc. into it, right? Based on the requirement. Now, in Android application, activity can be implemented as a subclass of activity, right? So here you can see in this example that it extends. Extends keyword represents the inheritance, right? So it extends the activity class, right? Now, the main thing over here you need to understand is the life cycle of activity, right? So Android activity life cycle. So whenever you launch any application, right? So these are the three basic, you can say methods are going to call at the first shot. So on create method, on start method, and on resume method. So what is the meaning of on create method? Can anyone tell? What is the purpose of on create method? We have already discussed this, guys, right? So please answer the question. What is the purpose of on create method? Anyone? This is very important topic, guys. You must have knowledge about this. Can anyone say what is the purpose of on create method, on start method, on resume method?
Sir, as soon as the activity is created, this
Okay.
is used.
Yes, good, right? So whenever you first launch the application, right? So your activity is going to launch. So at the very first, whatever things you can see, so that will be represented in the on create method, right? After that, on start method and on resume method. Okay. So first of all, these three methods are going to call, and after that you can say that your activity is running, your activity is running, right? Now if another activity comes into the foreground, so once suppose if you are using WhatsApp right now, right? And if the call comes, right? So what happens at the time another activity comes into the foreground? Okay. So at that time, your WhatsApp goes into the on pause method, on pause state, right? And after that, that activity is no longer visible, so it stops working, right? It is not destroyed, but right now your WhatsApp stops working because right now you are dealing with the phone activity. Okay. After that, if you cut down the phone, then again your activity is restart. So it is on restart state. Again, that goes into the start, on resume, and your activity is running. Your activity is running. Okay. But in between, suppose if you stop working with your WhatsApp and you have closed the application, then on destroy method is going to call. On destroy method is going to call. And after that, your activity is going to shut down, right? So this is the particular Android activity lifecycle. So here I have put down one table, right, which depicts the particular methods and the usage of that particular methods. Okay. So we have already discussed this, so we are not going to discuss this again, right? But it is very easy to understand that by looking at this, the purpose of each and every method. Okay. So, and after that, I have also mentioned the particular method with the syntax. So this is our on create method. Okay. And it is the first callback method when your when it fires when the system creates an activity for the first time, right? So it is during the activity creation when activity entered into the create state. Okay. After that, on start method, we have also discussed, right? So it is a callback. Give a minute. Okay. So on start method is a callback method will invoke when your activity entered into the started state. So we have already created one program based on this particular activity life cycle, and we have also explained these particular things, right? If you have any doubt, then I have shared with this particular ppt with you guys, so you can just go through it. Okay, so this is the particular activity life cycle. Now today we are going to start with one another important topic that is known as the Android intent. I think now all of the students have joined this, right? So we can start the new topic. Okay. Now, today we start with the Android intent. This is a very important topic, right? So let's understand with how this intent is going to work. So Android intent is the message that is passed between components such as activities, content providers, broadcast receivers, and the services, right? So these are the main four components of the Android. That is activities, content providers, broadcast receivers, and the services. We'll see one by one, right? Right now we are dealing with the activities. Okay, so it is generally used with the start activity method. Start activity method to invoke activity, to invoke the activity or broadcast receivers, right? Now, intents will help us to maintain the communication between app components. So what are the app components? So these are the particular content providers, broadcast receivers, services, and activities from the same application as well as with the components of other applications. So with the use of intent, what you can do, you can also talk to another activity, right? Suppose if I want to send one message from one activity to another activity, right? So that I can achieve through intent only. That I can achieve through intent only. In Android, intents are the objects of android.content.intent. Okay. Now, here, three components right now we can do with this intent. First is the starting an activity, starting the services, and delivering the broadcast. Now, first, if you go for starting an activity, then by sending an intent object to start activity method, we can start new activity or existing activity to perform required things. Okay. So right now, suppose if I have one activity over here, this is your activity A1, this is your A2, right? This is one edit text and this is one button. So if I write hello over here, and if I press this particular button, then this hello will be sent over here. Will be sent over here. So you can see. So this is like say suppose if you have a login page, here you have a username, password, and this is one button, and this is your home page, right? So after login, here you are entering your username, and here the message will be that welcome XYZ, right? So if you enter your username XYZ over here, and I want to print a message like this at the home page, this is my first activity, this is my second activity. So here, welcome XYZ. So from where XYZ is come? So it will come from the particular edit text over here. It is known as the username. So if I want to achieve this kind of functionality, right? So then and then you can go for the particular intent. Go for the intent, right? And you have to use this particular method to start the intent that is known as the start activity, right? Another, you can also use intent with the services. So by sending an intent object here, so you can understand the intent object word. So first of all, before using it, you have to create intent object, guys, right? So this is intent class and this is your object. Okay, so this object will be passed over here in these methods, right? And we can start a new services same as it is, or you can work with the existing. Similarly, if you want to work with the broadcast, then by sending an intent object to the send broadcast method, you can pass over here and we can deliver our message to other app broadcast receivers, right? So you can use intent with the activity, with the services, and with the broadcast receivers, right? But right now we are dealing with the activity only, right? So as and when we cover the services and broadcast receivers, at that time I will teach you how you can use intent with that too, right? But right now you remember we are dealing only with the activity. So here is the example for it. Now, Android intent object contains some information. So what kind of information required to determine which component to start, and the information about which action to be performed by the recipient component, right? So as I told you that I want to send a message from one activity to another activity. After that, I want to use the username as a to display message from login page to home page. So based on your requirement, you have to first determine the requirements by what you want to do and how, from where you want to start. So whether you start from the activity, start from the services, or start from the broadcast receivers, right? And after that, which action you want to perform. So the intent object in Android is having the following characteristics to help Android system to understand which component should start, right? So the first is the component name, action, data, category, extras, and the flags, right? So these are the main things. With the use of it, you can know the purpose of it, right? Now, let's start with the first of all component name. So the intent object holds the name of component of an Android application, right? So using component names, the system delivers an intent to the particular application components. Okay, so this is very much required. Now at the times we forgot to mention the component name. In such cases, the Android system decides it's based on the other characters, right? So how you can set the components name? So with the use of these three, you can say methods. First is set component method, set class method, and set class name method, right? If I want to retrieve right now which component I'm dealing with, for that, you can go for get component method. Okay, don't worry about this. I will give you the example for that. Now, the second thing is action. So action, what is action? Action defines the general task that is to be performed on the component, right? So now this actions directly targets the activity, or it targets the services or broadcast receivers, right? So in intent, these are the basically you can say, suppose there are that time will come, at time we'll discuss that there are two types of intent, right? One is implicit, another one is the explicit, right? And the third thing is these are the inbuilt, you can say, few object stores in field. So action call means if I want to call someone with the use of intent, this is the inbuilt service. Calling is the inbuilt service, right? Suppose I want to open a web browser. So this is again inbuilt service, right? So if I want to, these are the stored, this particular service, inbuilt services are stored somewhere. So where it is stored, that so it is stored at the action call, action edit, action main, action dial, action sync. So if I use action call, then what it will do for us? This is for initiating calls from the user's device. So whenever you, the call application is inbuilt in every phone, right? So it is not created by any third party. It is an inbuilt application. So whenever you press on a call button, right? So that particular calling facility will be in front of you, right? So so that particular facility is inbuilt facility for us. So if you want to work with that inbuilt facilities, then you can go for these inbuilt parameters. Similarly, there is a action edit, action main, action dial, and action sync. When you go for edit, this is to edit and make changes in the data that is visible to the users. Okay, so these are the inbuilt facilities which is already available with us, and these facilities you can use with the intent object, right? So once you can create the intent object, and with the use of that intent object you can use these facilities. Okay, so I have also created one application based on this, how you can deal with the inbuilt applications. You can call inbuilt applications like dialing a number, opening a web browser, or if I'm passing a latitude and longitude, then how you can open that particular location in the map. So that application I will show you, right? And that is based on this, how intent is used to call the inbuilt services. Another is that another parameters, now you have action headset plug, action screen now none, battery low. Suppose if you are getting the notification like your battery is now 10% or that kind of stuff, right? So they have set the parameter like if your battery is getting low from 10%, then it should display the message your battery is 10% low, now 10%, right? So it is known as the broadcast service, broadcast receivers, right? So it broadcasts one message. So which message is broadcast? So it broadcasts the message like your battery power is now low. So either you can switch to the low battery mode, or you can plug in, right? So you can get that particular type of messages, warnings, and all that stuff, right? So these particular things are also inbuilt. So now you can see there are Android provides a lots of inbuilt stuff for you guys, right? So you just need to call that. You just need to use it. That's it. You don't need to create that particular thing, right? If you set the parameter intent object dot action battery low, then it will automatically send the message, broadcast message to you in your phone, right? Now actions of an intent objects are set by using set action and if you want to get that using get action method. Okay, right? So this is about the particular component name and action, right? So rest of the parameters are a data. So what that data stores and tells the types of data. So intent filter is also a very important things. Okay, so this particular thing is also you will find in the manifest file. Manifest file, right? In that, intent filter will be there. So what kind of data you want to read, so you can decide with that. So while creating an intent, it is also important to specify the type of the data. So while defining the data type, that is a MIME type, that is a MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension type of data, in addition to URL, uniform resource identifier, and the data is expressed as a URI. So URI is the very important thing. So in our application, we are whenever we are going to use the intent object, right? So we are going to use URI dot parse method. You just remember this. I will show you in the example. So suppose if I want to open the web browser, and like suppose I want to open the google.com. So URI dot parse, I'm going to parse https colon slash slash www dot google.com, right? So I just need to write only one line. You won't believe that. I just need to write only one line in my on click event. So this is my button event. And when I press the button, then it will directly open the google.com. Similarly, whenever you are touching the call button icon and it opens the dial up interface, user interface in front of you, the same thing will be achieved with the use of this URI.parse method. Okay, so this is a very important method. Now, category. So which kind of categories we are dealing with? So this contains information, some additional information about what kind of object should hold the intent. This is again important thing. What kind of object should hold the intent? So intent object can contain any number of, or you can say any types of category, right? So which kind? It is a browsable, it is an alternative, it's a gadget, it's a home type, right? Or it's a launcher type. So which category we are going to deal with? So that additional information also you can pass with the use of intent object, right? But it is optional. If you want to provide, if there is a requirement for you, then you can pass it. Otherwise, you can leave it. Now, to set the intent again, you can remember these methods very easily. To set the category, we have add category. You can delete the category, and if you want to read the category, then you can go for get category method, right? So you this by using these three methods, you can manipulate the particular categories. Now extras. So this is a piece of extended information in addition to provided one. So when there is a need to provide some extra information for the components, then you can use it. So it simply uses a key value pair. So what is a key value pair? So suppose here I have a key and this is a value. This is a syntax, right? So here you can provide the key and here you can provide the value. And suppose in the future, if I want to read that information, then I just need to hold the key. I just need to know the key. So with the use of this key, I can remember, I can read the particular value. I can read the particular value. Okay. So this is extra. And the last one is a flex. These are the extra optional parameters, but you should understand, right? That's why I'm covering this. Now flags are also provided in the intent objects for different types of tasks, right? So there are various types of flags, and you can set, and you can set flag, add flags, and you can set flags. Okay. So if you have already any flag is added, and if you want to change the another flag for instead of that, in place of that, then you can go for the set flags. Okay. So these are the extra information for you guys, right? But we are mainly dealing with the component name, action, and category, that kind of stuff. Okay, right? So these are the six parameters that can hold by the intent object, and with the use of intent object, you can get the information about all of this, right? So intent is a very powerful. Types of intent will cover in our next session, right? So we are stopping our session over here, right? Is there any doubt up to this, guys? Anyone? So this is just the theoretical portion of the intent, and it is a very important thing. So I request you to please this PPT or any material you will get, right? Book from internet resources, whatever. But don't uh, skip this particular topic because it's a very important topic for you guys. Okay. Is there any doubt? Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. So we stop our session over here, and we'll start with the types of intent in our next session. Okay. Right. Right. So have a nice day. Let me take the attendance first. Then okay. Now you can leave. Right. I took the attendance. Have a nice day, guys.